Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday night Cryptids and Conspiracies. It is the same cryptid time, same conspiracy channel. We are simulcasting across Wookie Fever's channel, my channel, and we're also on X and Rumble, two channels on Rumble. Anyway, so welcome to the show, everybody. Let me bring on.
If it's no Scottish, it's crap!
Hello. How's everyone doing? My goodness, we are broadcasting everywhere, it would seem. Well, hey.
All right.
How you doing? Oh, you're mute. Oh, you're unmuted.
Doing great,
You're muted.
doing great.
Yeah.
Let me. I'm not anymore. I'm not anymore.
No,
Okay,
you're back.
all right.
You're back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm unmuted now.
Kinda,
All right,
kinda on and off
Wookie.
there.
Let's bring on Wookie.
Sir, nobody worries about upsetting a droid.
That's because a droid don't pull people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
Hi, everybody!
I think I
Okay.
liked it better when he was just an icon.
That was a creepy
Anyway.
picture you put on there, that lady in the whatever, the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
all right.
that's-
I did add a blood over filter or whatever. So
Good job, though. Good job, though. It definitely,
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head.
Well, let's see. I do the thumbnail. I do the opening crawl, which has to be
Yes,
customized
you do.
every time. I
You're
bring up the clip,
multitasking.
and I do
You're
most of the
multitasking.
research. So throw me
Yeah,
a
there you
bone
go.
here. Anyway,
Okay. You want a thigh or a leg?
Like,
all right. Let's bring on
Bring
the
on-
fast guy. Why
Bring
not?
on-
Abby someone. Abby someone. Abby who? Abby normal.
You're muted. There we go.
Very large mute. Very large mute.
Very large mute.
hello.
Hello.
No. I got cigars.
I got cigars.
All right. No problem.
All right. Bunny, you're still
In
on
honor
a,
of the
you're still
great
on a-
Gene Hackman.
You're
Yes.
still on a time,
Oh,
time
yes.
play, huh?
Yeah.
Time delay. What?
Yeah, that's like it's You're off
Sometimes
about
it will
a
let
few
go.
seconds.
Oh.
It's-
It's kind of stuttering a bit as well.
uh-oh. You stuttering?
I'm sorry.
Stammering?
I'm just gonna have to deal with it tonight. Sorry
Okay.
about that. That is
You
what
do
it
You
is.
can't be
Good job,
talking. You
Billy.
can't be talking like Joe Biden
right.
and stuttering all the time.
Well, I don't know. He was like the ruler of the free world there for a second, so
He wasn't running anything.
His,
He was
Alright.
only running
his mind was
machine.
definitely free from reality, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
All right. All right.
All
He was
right.
president of my committee.
So
Here
the
we
bad
are.
news is time profits
Time
here.
profits.
All right, time
Yay!
profit. Greetings.
All right.
There you go.
He's here today.
Anyway, more anticipation to debunk Bunny. Yeah, there you go. All right, here you go. More right. Evidently you did it like twice. I might have to run
I
off
might
for
have to
a
run off.
bite
All right.
later.
It's been doing that the last several shows, but with two comments at one time.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess I am glad Wiki Fever learned how to change the Lady Red in MS Paint. That was me. That
was Bunny, not me.
America does rule the
It's
world.
called Crayola crayons.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
That's right.
hey.
Yeah, so America has
Hey, check
nothing to
this
do
out.
with the rest of the world.
got the
Everybody.
movie. I've got,
Yes.
I have
There
the
you go.
movie.
America
There you
does
go.
not rule the world. Only, yeah.
No.
Count as
Yeah.
Nothing we do has any effect on the rest of the world, everybody, according to Time
What's
Profit.
that?
So,
What you got
Yeah.
there, Cruel?
Hey.
Show that
no
again.
big deal.
Ooh.
All right. Whoops.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
what happened to Cruel?
Go
You
on.
lost Cruel.
Thanks. We thought they knock on your door.
Oh, was there a knock, Cruel?
No,
Yes.
that's all right.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Let's try to bring
This
up
is-
Slim up. All right, count us.
Nice. Nice.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
There we
Right.
Related to the subject
All
matter.
Yeah,
Yes.
go. Mhm.
So
Yeah,
there you
Time
go.
Prophet says in the chat, America is not the center of the planet. Well, it's pretty damn close since we pay for
No.
everything.
No, evidently through USAID we were paying for your ass too. So just saying.
So
Anyway.
it would seem, eh?
Well, we
That
are
went everywhere.
completely supporting Ukraine.
Anyway.
It would seem.
Yeah, and we're also
as a
funding the
point of-
BBC and the
I'd like to go on record as saying, fuck Ukraine.
Anyway, speaking of near Ukraine, a place called Hungary. All right.
Yes.
Right.
Hungry.
Yes, I am hungry. Yes, I'm
Yes.
hungry.
Yeah.
I'm hungry too.
So am I.
Hungary, nitwits. Hungary, the nation. All right. So around
don't care.
1560, on a family estate in a unpronounceable word city. Miss Elizabeth, later to become Elizabeth Bathory, was born.
We call it Detroit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Detroit.
So her father was Baron George Sixth, Baron George the Sixth Bathory, and brother. Anyway, so he had been the ruling leader or king of Transylvania, and so I'm not going to go through all this shit. But anyway, but she was also the niece. She's also the niece of the Prince of Transylvania.
You mean you're not going to read everything like Wookiee style, all verbatim?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that. Anyway, so she was raised a Calvinist Protestant. Learned Latin, German, Hungarian, and Greek as a young woman. Born to a privileged noble family, was endowed with wealth, education, prominent social rank. Proposal made by some sources and other to explain her cruelty later in her life, that she was trained by her family to be cruel. So, all right.
She was
really
definitely
a nice
intelligent,
thing.
but yeah, she was also a psychopath and sociopath, and
yeah, all the best paths, all the best
exactly.
paths.
Exactly, yes.
Anyway.
Hey, Wookiee, you sure you want
this is
married to her?
No.
You
My
might
last
be married
two
to
were
a
cream puffs
distant ancestor or something. Anyway.
My last two were freaking like the inside of Twinkies compared to this broad. No way.
Well, it is. Feel free to make our thumbnails if you want to. As a child, Bathory was multiple seizures and be caused by epilepsy. At the time, symptoms relating to epilepsy were diagnosed as falling sickness, and treatments included rubbing blood of a non-sufferer on the lips of an epileptic, giving an epileptic a mix of non-sufferer's blood and a piece of skull as their episode ended. So,
you see,
yeah,
I just have pills for that. You know,
Yeah. Modern medicine, pharmacology.
You know,
right.
Just pills.
Or as I like to call it, the evil fucking empire.
Yes, there you go.
There you go.
Unfortunately, you work for them.
Yes, I get a paycheck from them.
Yes, you get a paycheck.
Now, epilepsy has been linked to personality disorders. People that had like grand mal seizures when they were young. The part of the brain that tends to be affected has something to do with like, what's that called when you just, if it hits your head, you do it. What's that called? Anyone? You know,
Spontaneous combustion.
Impulse control. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So she may have suffered damage to her impulse control.
The captain, the impulse control's broken. We're not gonna make it.
Carry this whole thing on my back.
Impulse control is down.
All right. Not in the Star Trek sense, okay? Not in the Star Trek sense. Anyway,
you thought it was going to be a smooth show.
No, it's one of those.
As soon as I saw Time Prophet over here. I kind of knew what kind of show this was going to be. So anyway, all right.
Hey,
Age
Sean.
of 13, before her first marriage, Bathory allegedly gave birth to a child. Said to have been fathered by Hey, John. Good to see you. Said to be fathered by a peasant boy. It was supposedly given away to a local woman who was trusted by the Bathory family. The woman was paid for actions. The child was taken to Wallachia, which is Vlad Tepes country, by the way. Evidence to this pregnancy came up long after Elizabeth's death. The rumors spread by peasants. Therefore, the validity of the rumor is often disputed. Okay. So it is what it is. Go ahead.
It was reported that she had an affair with some peasant dude. Had the baby, and surprisingly, her husband didn't even know. And when the husband found out, he had the dude she had the affair with, he had him castrated.
Yeah.
Oh joy.
Oh joy. Yeah.
Well, so
they're all crazy.
Yeah. There tends to be a lot of bloodletting going on back then.
No.
All
right. So a lot of vampire parkours just end up fighting with us. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Anyway.
Queen would have sung about it.
Yeah.
They're real vampires that drink blood, but they're not supernatural or become the living dead.
Yeah, they're just mentally messed up.
Anyway, of course, there's no supernatural because Time Prophet said so. So whatever. What else is new? You're boring me, man. You're always boring me. All right, so let me play this first little thing right here. So, first clip.
In the dark corridors of European history lies the tale of Elizabeth Bathory, a Hungarian countess known as the Blood Countess. Legend claims she murdered hundreds of young women and bathed in their blood to stay youthful. Over 600 victims, tortured and killed, all in the name of beauty. Her story grew so gruesome, she was compared to vampires. But was she truly a monster, or a victim of a conspiracy? Elizabeth Bathory was a powerful woman, owning vast estates in 16th century Hungary. Her wealth and influence made her a target for those seeking her downfall. Some believe that her enemies, jealous nobles and politicians, fabricated the accusations against her. The testimonies at her trial were often gathered through torture, and many of the records were lost or incomplete, adding to the suspicion. In the end, Bathory was never put on trial. She was imprisoned in her castle until her death. She died isolated, her reputation forever tainted by the bloodbath stories. But the myth of Elizabeth Bathory as a vampire-like figure continued to grow. Her legend inspired countless horror stories, books, and movies. But modern historians question the truth behind the legend. Was she a sadistic murderer, or simply the victim of political intrigue? The evidence remains unclear, and the truth may never be fully uncovered. Today, her castle stands as a ruin, much like the mystery surrounding her name. What is clear is that her story blurs the line between history and myth. Elizabeth Bathory's tale shows the dangers of power, fear, and manipulation. So, was she truly the Blood Countess, or merely a pawn in a deadly game? Only history knows the answer.
Well, there you go.
Once again, over 300 people can't step forward and so. Okay.
Yeah. Although,
not really sure. Not really sure what that has to do with the subject, but thanks for playing, Time Prophet.
Here's the thing.
Anyway.
Yeah, the people step forward.
That's witchcraft. We're talking vampires. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they stepped forward and gave testimony about all the torture and all of that stuff that went on down in the dungeons. But I don't recall there being mention of witness account of her bathing in the blood, though.
Yeah, the one documentary I saw, they said there was actually no documented evidence of the blood bathing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fucking gore, though.
Oh yes,
I mean,
lots of gore.
Lot of
lots
gore,
of gore. I mean,
lot of
I think
gruesome,
some of the idea of the bathing in blood, I think, came from the fact that the torture chamber down in the basement, the floors were just caked.
Oh yeah,
just
floors
flowing
and the
in
walls
blood.
were covered in blood. Yeah,
Covered in blood. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
I believe that people, the bathing in blood was kind of like speculated as to why you would need that many maidens, and what would you do with the blood?
Yeah, and her sort of like, what would you call them? Her assistants and things like that. Her confidants, one of them was a bit of a witch, let's just say.
Yeah, that one lady.
Yeah, a bit of a
that
witch.
one lady was a crazy old broad. She's the one I think that taught her how to be
black magic kind of stuff, and paganism.
She taught her how to be sadistic. I mean, she was cruel before, but when this
her husband was supposed to be into a lot of the torturing and maiming and all that kind of stuff as well. So.
Yeah. And then when this other lady came into the picture, and of course they stayed there at the castle. This lady kind of groomed her to become more sadistic and just flat out evil.
Well, she flipped out. She flipped out when her husband died and became worse. So yeah.
But the she was engaged to Count Ferenc, I think Ferenc. Nosity, member of the Nosity family, political arrangement that gave them both combined land ownership in both Transylvania and the Kingdom of Hungary. So Transylvania coming up again.
That's it. I mean, it's he I think gifted her the castle, if I recall.
Yeah. Right. Yep. The wedding gift of Bathory was the household in the castle situated in the Little Carpathians. So a lot of this all these names keep coming up. We hear them before, like Bram Stoker's Dracula. So a lot of people think that Bram Stoker was influenced as to where his setting was, and by the story of Vlad Tepes and Elizabeth Bathory.
Right. Yeah.
But at the time, King Maximilian II owned the castle, but made his Ferenc's mother the official steward. And they bought the castle in 1602. But during the constant military campaign, Elizabeth maintained the castle in his absence during, with the country house and 17 adjacent villages. So she had control of these villages. Yeah. And after the wedding, they lived in Nasity's castle. So 3 years into the marriage, he became chief commander of Hungarian troops, led them into war against the Ottomans. You know who else was in war with the Ottomans? Anyone?
Vlad.
Nobody famous.
Vlad the Impaler. Yeah. Funny thing about it is, Vlad was such a scary guy that they went around Vlad, and so they basically had to fight the overflow.
Away, Vlad was a sweetheart.
He just misunderstood us all. Come on.
He had a forest of impaled people.
Doesn't everybody?
Hey, what's the thing back then? Come on.
He made people into human popsicles, okay? While they were still alive. So no, he wasn't.
Like a human.
The chat says Count Dankula was a vegetarian vampire because
Duckula,
Duckula.
Count Dankula? Yeah.
Duckula. Remember Duckula?
Duckula?
Duckula.
You don't know the cartoon?
Let's move on. Moving on.
All right,
I do.
Next comment.
Jeez.
Next inane time prophet comment, please.
Bram Stoker was influenced by Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah,
I just said.
I said, and Vlad the Impaler. So there you go.
I just said.
That's what we just said. All right. Anyway, is that all the inane comments from him? Okay. All right. Moving on.
Wait,
Okay,
there's more.
Oh, okay.
Well, there will be.
All right. Why not?
There will be.
Why not? All right. So anyway, while he was away at war.
Here we go.
Hey, come.
Come.
Hey, Cam.
Cam in the chat.
All right.
Hey, gents, good to see you. I've heard some about her. Bathing in blood could also have been from dyeing her hair red, but by all accounts, she was a crazy bee. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yes. Maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. Okay.
Well, we're all flawed.
All right. So anyway, all this stuff seemed to come to light after Ferenc's death in 1604 at the age of 48. And the exact nature of his illness, which led to his death, is unknown. It seems to have started in 1601, initially caused debilitating pain in his legs. From that time, he never fully recovered. In 1603, became permanently disabled, which sounds a lot like arsenic poisoning. Just saying.
Anyway. Arsenic in the wigs back then?
Well, arsenic was used several times. It was used to royals would just suddenly start having intestinal issues, and then eventually they started having cramps and crampings and problems with their limbs and stuff like that. And a lot of people think that's what happened to Queen Victoria's husband, Albert. That he was poisoned with arsenic. But anyway,
we
know
Napoleon in the chat.
All right, make sure that you let King Albert out of the can, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Prince
Wookie,
Albert, not King Albert.
Prince,
Wookie,
King, whatever.
Wookie, is your refrigerator running?
Why, yes,
right.
it is.
You better go catch it.
I know, right?
All right. So
it's run too fast.
We know that Napoleon definitely was poisoned by arsenic because they checked his hair follicles. He was definitely poisoned by arsenic. So it's the dirty parkour. Yeah. But anyway, so basically between 1602 and 1604, rumors of Bathory's atrocities spread throughout the kingdom, and they made complaints against her both publicly and in the court in Vienna. 1610, someone was assigned to investigate and collect evidence. And by October 1610, they collected 52 witness statements. By 1611, that number had risen to over 300.
I think the video that I watched yesterday, I do believe that the investigator was a friend of her late husband, and he had vowed to look out for her.
Yeah.
So
that
was a bit of a bind for him to be in.
Well, he was entrusted with heirs and widow. His name is Grigory Thurzo. So he led the investigation into her. So a lot of people, the people that are rewriting history have said that it's because he wanted her lands. And so he made up all this stuff about her. She is said to have tortured and killed peasants for years, and their disappearances were not likely to provoke an investigation. Abuse of lower classes by nobles was frowned on, but not actually prohibited by law. However, she eventually began killing daughters of the lesser gentry, which is how she got in trouble. Some of whom were sent to live with her, hoping to learn from her and benefit from connection to higher ranking county. So, in other words, she'd been slaughtering maidens from the villages for years, and it was not illegal, but she started slaughtering gentry's daughters, and that's when she got in a little bit of trouble.
She set up I think it was like a sewing school or something like that, some sort of thing like that.
Like an etiquette school or something.
The higher class of victims could go there, you see.
Right. But some witnesses named relatives who died. Others reported seeing traces of torture on dead bodies. Some were buried in graveyards, others in unmarked locations. So in other words, let's ignore the preponderance of information because she was a female. There's no way that she was this sadistic monster who was murdering maidens. So it had to be the the masculine people around her.
You ever heard of Boudica?
Yeah,
That's
Boudica.
one feral broad right there. I'll tell you what.
Right. Well, she's been her history's been rewritten too to make her kinder and gentler and an innocent victim of patriarchy. So you see this all the time. Females that do horrible things suddenly become a victims of the patriarchy and have no, have like, no hand in their atrocities. They were either influenced or forced to do these awful things.
Yeah.
So, like 300 witnesses were just like influenced and threatened to, to tell all these horrific stories about her. Which had a lot of specificity. If you make up a story, you don't usually have a lot of specificity to it, especially if they're ignorant villagers, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of these people were.
Oh,
Cam in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Cam in the chat says that there's good evidence that Napoleon actually switched places with his brother, and it was his brother that was imprisoned and died.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. I hadn't heard that.
Maybe.
Oh, well, Man in the Iron Mask.
Oh, there you go.
Probably.
We could do Iron Man in the Iron Mask later. Anyway, but okay. So basically, the accusations were that. Let's see. Let's get through the left wing slant on the Wikipedia article here. But all right. So basically, the atrocities were first trial, 17 witnesses testified, including the 4 servants who were fellow suspects. The servants had been tortured before the proceedings. They confessed and stated they were acting on Elizabeth's orders. After the trial, they were executed as her accomplices. Okay. So, anyway. But accusations of murder were based on rumors. There's no document to prove anyone in the area complained about the Countess. But if it wasn't illegal, then it didn't matter if they complained or not. So that's bullshit. But
if anybody questioned, questioned it, that was cholera.
That's right.
Are you freaking eating again? Seriously?
Again? When did I stop?
He's a Wookiee.
All right. Let me just play this. Clip. All right. Anyway.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Royalty Now Studios, where I recreate famous figures from the past and put them in the modern day. I love the way the modern day versions of these figures make them feel more relatable to us today. I wanted to do a little Royalty Now short video highlighting my Halloween post from last year that hasn't quite made its way to YouTube yet. And that is the portrait of Elizabeth Bathory. She is another Eastern European figure. Check out the previous Vlad the Impaler video that I just posted last week if you haven't already, who is allegedly one of the most prolific serial killers of all time. If you like my work, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram at royalty_now_ and see my entire body of work there. I'm going to talk briefly about Elizabeth's legacy and then show you my modern day recreation. Quick warning on this is about torture and murder, so if you're sensitive to that stuff, I would avoid it. Let's get started. Countess Bathory Erzsébet, westernized to Elizabeth Bathory, lived in Hungary from 1560 to 1614, about 100 years after Vlad the Impaler lived next door in Romania. The difference between fact and fiction, legend and truth is foggy in the case of Bathory. To some, she is the most prolific female serial killer in history, recorded history anyway, and to some she is a framed innocent. In the early 1600s, rumors began to spread around the area about some suspicious activities being carried out by the Hungarian noblewoman. Bathory had a reputation in the area for her servants and even peasant girls going missing under suspicious circumstances. It was said that her sadistic activities included biting chunks of flesh from her victims, cutting victims with scissors, piercing them with needles, and holding red-hot irons up to their flesh. Some victims were even starved or beaten to death. Legend has it that one unfortunate soul was even forced to cook and eat her own flesh. Modern folklore says that Bathory thought drinking or bathing in the blood of her young girls would keep her youthful. It is said that she killed between 80 and 650 victims during her spree. Now, Elizabeth was eventually kind of brought to justice around 1610 when an investigation was conducted and a trial was held for her. And over 300 witnesses came forth to say that they'd seen the events or they've seen a body or something like that, and she was eventually imprisoned for the rest of her life. Now, she had some pretty powerful people protecting her. She was obviously a powerful woman at the time and had a powerful family. So it's said that her escapades were kind of swept under the rug until 1610 when they finally had this trial for her. Now, it's only in recent years that the idea that Elizabeth Bathory was framed has come into play. Some believe that the noblemen of the area kind of fabricated all this evidence against her in an attempt to seize her wealth. It's no leap to say that the details of these supposed murders that she committed have definitely been exaggerated throughout the years, including the rumor that she bathed in the blood of young girls, which is probably not true even if she was a killer. There is some evidence of her innocence, including no victims ever actually being named, or the documents not found at least, her not being able to testify at her own trial, and of course several witnesses claiming to have been there and directly witnessed events when they didn't even know her and couldn't have witnessed those events. So there's just some fog of history around this entire legacy and legend, and it's really hard because there's many documents that are lost to us. So it's really impossible to declare her either innocent or guilty today, looking back on it. It's just a really interesting story that's captured a lot of imaginations. So let's get into the recreation. First of all, there are no existing contemporary portraits of Elizabeth Bathory surviving for us today. There is an image of her that is said to be copied from a lost original portrait as seen here. However, this portrait is just in really bad condition and was difficult to work from for my purposes, so I've worked from another, and the one I've worked from is actually of an unidentified lady painted in 1580 by Anthony Blockland. It may or may not be Elizabeth, but it's definitely associated with her legend. But just for fun and for Halloween, it works for what we're doing here. So let's take a look at my modern day recreation of Elizabeth Bathory.
Damn, for a second there, I thought that was my ex-wife.
Well, the jury's still out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real
All
quick,
right,
Cam in the chat. Cam in the chat says, I got to hop for dinner. Have fun. Pop back if can N or C. You want to rewatch?
Cam.
Take it easy. Cam, thanks for stopping by,
Cam.
man. We really appreciate it. Have it going.
All righty. So, you guys,
Yes.
you have watched some of the same stuff that I have. What do you think about whether she's guilty or not? What do you think about all the information, all the
Well, from what I understand, Thurzo approached her family about all of this, and they just said to deal with it, I think, and it was based on his relationship with her former husband and things like that they went ahead without the public trial and the embarrassment, and they just kind of locked her up. That was what was in the video I watched.
Yeah. That's
Well-
what I see.
Well, I mean, there was a woman in like Louisiana that did a lot of similar stuff to her, and so
Right.
it's Madame Lalaurie who basically did the slave girls, and so women who have a certain amount of power, and we know that she was very powerful, had a lot of lands, was connected all the way up to the Pope. And well, actually, they were Protestant, but anyway. But she had connections like very powerful people, and so she was pretty much untouchable. And she'd lived her life, being cruel to her help, and she also had the epileptic seizures, which probably screwed with her.
Probably.
Lack of impulse
the
control.
the reports and rumors got so bad that they petitioned the king, I think it was, and that's why they went ahead with the investigations.
Yeah, and so basically, a woman is powerful. A woman with that background, that kind of casual, like not even seeing, servants and like villagers as human. They're pretty much at that point. They're about the level of livestock.
Oh yeah,
and
insects.
You see,
yeah.
Right. I mean, you saw this with the Germans, dealing with they made like lampshades and soap and stuff out of Jewish people's bodies and things like that.
I was going to say, I forgot to mention, her family didn't necessarily deny her cruelty either.
No, they pretty much like what? What was this a problem?
Right.
Like I said, it wasn't even illegal for her to kill like villagers and people like that. And they were there. They lived or died basically at the behest or at the we can't conceive of the kind of power these people wielded back then because we don't have that kind of monarchy. We think of things in terms of justice, things in terms of law and order, but these people, they were like basically laws unto themselves. And if you got somebody who had a screw loose, like it's possible that she did, and had this casual cruelty that she possibly did, and you add in maybe the fact that she thought that blood, because they used blood to like treat her on her lips to treat the epilepsy. So if she developed a taste for blood and thought blood was like restorative, which a lot of people did, they used it in poultices and things like that. But then
they still do, yeah.
The idea that this lady, didn't mind cutting a bitch to fill up a tub to lay in, it's really not that far fetched.
Well, there was a report that one of the servants that she had had missed a stitch on a gown or something like that, and she pretty much tortured the poor chick to death because she missed a freaking stitch. It's just she was that much of a freaking sociopath, nihilist, that it's just insane.
Yeah.
Well, who would ever want to freaking work there?
There you go. And why until modern times did this suddenly this whole patriarchy coming up around her and framing her, but then you're like, qui bono, who benefited? The whole entire narrative is these people wanted control of her lands, but she left all of it to her kids. And so the people that they're saying that would have benefited from framing her didn't even benefit. It went to her
she
kid.
She had several children.
I think 6. And so nobody it just doesn't make political sense unless you're like got this whole, communistic, she can't possibly have had agency because she's female and she's the oppressed. She's not an oppressor. And so this bloodthirsty monster was oppressed because the very fact she had ovaries and was in a marital relationship. It's bizarre, but
it's the Me Too movement.
The Me Too movement, right? And so i.e., even though she entered this marriage when she's 17. And lived in luxury, lived with no wants or lack of freedom in her whole entire life, except she did have some kids, which made her valuable. But beyond that, I mean, we're not talking about Prince Ed, Henry VIII's wives here.
No.
Prince Albert.
He wasn't replacing. Yeah, he wasn't replacing her. She had power. She had a prestige. She had, and then and so basically he did everything she wanted.
Yeah, I mean, you look at history, like just in England. I mean, how many queens were there without a king? I mean,
Right.
there was wasn't Queen Elizabeth the First a single? And then you've got so it's and then
the whole
I mean
it's the same problem that we have today of viewing the past through the lens of our enlightened modern selves, and for most part, it's like it's narcissistic at the very least. But this woman, I mean, you cannot say that she was framed when 300 people came forward. 300 people. And all of them had tales of horror, of torture, of killing and death. And so cherry picking the ones that, out of that 300 that had possibly shady, which is what they do. They always take the one or two exceptions and make that the rule to fit their narrative. But nobody in. Go ahead.
No, I'm curious at this time because it was such a big prevalent thing in the world at the time. What was the Catholic Church's view on this? Did they have any say-so in what was going on?
Well,
they were pretty powerful back then.
Well, and you have to understand that during those times, if I'm not mistaken, the Inquisition was still going on.
Right.
So they were torturing and killing and maiming friggin' Jews and unbelievers as well that weren't Catholic.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were pretty freaking sadistic too.
Yeah. So this was a different era. I mean, you can't.
The Inquisition. What
there you go. And we're not talking about yet another Wookiee marriage, but anyway. Anyway, but basically, the whole entire idea that this woman was that sadistic and that she did all the monstrous things that she is reputed to have done is not beyond the realms of possibility. And
no,
while there's no direct all the stories of her soaking in the blood of maidens is kind of like from testimony given during the trial,
right?
And so I either there's no direct proof, but there was never, they didn't have forensics back then. Everything we know from history was from testimony. And so I've seen several videos where it's it's never been proven that she soaked in the blood of maidens, and I'm like, bitch, it's not been proven that she didn't either.
That's true.
And it's not beyond the realm of possibility that this woman drank and soaked in blood in bathtubs. No problem, Time Prophet. Hope you're okay.
All right, Time Prophet.
See you, Time Prophet.
But essentially, it's not beyond the realm of possibility either. I mean, a lot of our vampire lore comes from her.
Well, I was waiting to say. I mean, one of her confidants was a witch, essentially. So they could have been using blood magic or whatever. You just never know. You just never know. Some pagan things that they could have been up to and stuff like that.
Well, pagan religion goes all the way, but I mean, back to the beginning of man. And one of the features of pagan religions is the sacrificing of young people, sacrificing of children. And and especially young maidens. So if she
Well,
was,
how about that?
if she was like, yeah, it's like it's happening today or something.
It's almost like that.
You know, almost like it's still happening. But the sacrifice of children is it's a common attribute to pagan religion. So
Yeah,
that's the real name is Bathory. Bats and blood called Bathory. No, it's a family name and it goes back pretty far. But yeah, I mean, and so the whole vampire angle kind of came in later. But all we know, I mean, vampires. One of the features of vampires is that they consume blood for sustenance to keep them young, and so she was doing, by all intents and purposes, she was doing like she was consuming blood and using blood to keep herself looking young. So, by the strict definition of vampirism, she was a vampire. By the strict, concept of vampirism. Maybe it wasn't supernatural, but it's very, there's several, a lot of people were saying that she was consuming blood, and we know the epileptic treatment was to put blood on them, their lips. So it's just entirely possible that this woman was drinking blood and bathing in it.
One of the well, let's right, Scottish.
Good enough. Good enough.
Well, I was going to say one of the things that was pretty interesting was the fact that they were going to bury her when she died in the village or the cemetery there, and there was such a stink that they moved her to the Bathory family cemetery. And when that was dug up in, I think it was the 1980s, I think, could be wrong. Her coffin was empty. So that's kind of strange.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And they walled her up rather than let her be, put her in jail or anything. They walled her completely up.
She lasted for about 4 years. She lasted for about 4 years, and then she was found dead.
Well, what was it? The guard attending her, she had complained about cold hands,
her hands being
or something
cold.
like. And it just have a lie down and see how you feel. And she never woke up again, and that was it. She was gone.
Yep.
Right. So it is what it is. So gentlemen, any final words on this one? Any conclusions you come to, or any proof you want to give?
I want to go along with B-Dog and say that she is a dirty park whore.
Well, I would say she was in one of the more upper echelons of the dirty parkours, but there you go.
Is that what you're telling me?
She was in the high rent district.
Yeah, right.
Quite possibly a dirty, filthy park whore. Ooh.
Dirty, filthy. Watch out. Watch out. I'd have to say that she definitely practiced some very inhumane friggin' things. And, she deserved to be frickin', pulled apart by horses, in my opinion, alive. She was that much of a despicable human being. Well, you can't even call her a human being, more like an inhuman. The way she treated these poor, kids from the village that thought they were getting a break. They come up to work in the castle, and they end up getting freaking tortured and murdered by some sadistic freak. So, but I definitely think she's a sadistic freak serial killer.
The only way she was caught was that she started doing it to people.
The upper echelons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then people started asking questions.
I like Ike.
I like Ike. How you doing? I think.
What's up, Ike?
I don't think. My opinion is I don't think she's a vampire, but she's definitely a psychopath hose beast.
Hmm.
That
And
deserves.
listen to Wookiee guys because he knows.
Yes, I know. Yeah. That's all about the wood.
He only makes this every single week. He only makes
I know, right?
every single week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. I like Ike. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, Scottish parkours do it on the Cabers, LOL.
Four
horses.
Yeah.
And
Would they beat the park
all right,
horses?
would they be park horses? Right. Well, okay. Well, follow my logic. Follow my logic here. By every definition of vampire, they, you know, but if you leave out the supernatural thing, they do consume blood. They use, you know, to keep themselves young and for sustenance. And we know, you know, from a lot of like witness evidence that she did tend to either put blood on herself, possibly bathe in blood, and drink it. So, so you know, strictly speaking, then she would qualify as a vampire. So, you know, even if you don't go for the supernatural thing,
yeah, I'll give you that. She's definitely, as far as the if you subtract the supernatural end of it, the definition, yeah, she follows that pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, I'll say based on your analogy of it, I'd say yeah, she had vampirism.
Yeah.
Mental illness tendencies, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, somebody with a screw loose that got way too much power and too little accountability. She was basically the 1611 version of Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Only she swam in the blood of her deplorables.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except in her case, it was adrenochrome rather than
yeah,
you know, blood.
Yeah.
So,
otherwise known as dip.
yeah, which
Yeah.
basically the same thing. There you go. Well, we know that she tortured these young maidens and before she consumed parts of them, so it could very possible that she was looking for adrenochrome as well. So there you go.
Anything's possible.
But and there is some rumors that on Anthony Weiner's laptop was a video of Hillary Clinton doing something very similar to something Elizabeth Bathory was accused of doing. So just saying. As vampires, the ones that voted for Biden, it's possible. It's possible. Some undead creatures voted for Biden in 2020. That's a proof. And,
I want to meet the person like 350 years old getting a Social Security kick.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, seriously. It could be Elizabeth. It could be Elizabeth. You know.
I have questions.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go around and vote. All right, Mr. Cruel. Do you think
Are you going to do the poll
first?
first? You do the poll first, I thought.
Okay, we'll do the poll first. That's a good idea. All right.
Money's froze.
I got 5.
Yeah,
So poll. I'm going to check my poll. I'm going to close it out.
Right. I'm going to close mine out too.
Hooray.
All right for Hollywood.
Okay. All right, I got one undecided undecided, and 1 debunked. What about you, man?
I got 2 undecideds, 2 debunked, and 1 confirmed.
Oh, okay. All righty.
Oh yeah.
So
that would mean-
that is
the
4 debunks, right?
yeah.
1 confirmed. Or 4 undecideds. 4 undecideds. 3 debunks and 1 confirmed. All right.
There we go.
Okay.
Undecideds are in the lead.
Going around the horn. All right. I'm going for in the middle. I think the truth's in the middle on this one. So obviously I'm in a minority. It is what it is. All right, Cruel. What do you think, man?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I think that she was a vampire, and it's all simply because you had to mention the magic word, adrenochrome. When we think about that substance, how it's obtained, and the trauma that's required for
Oh
that,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
then I'm thinking that she would have used the blood with those properties, not knowing the whole thing with the adrenochrome, of course, but back then. But that's what I'm thinking.
The trauma.
That's my logic from what we know about these things now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I didn't even
So
think
I'm
about
going
that until
confirmed.
you just
She's a
mentioned that.
vampire.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to confirm.
I love it. But it's just knowing what we know.
How easily swayed you are, Bunny.
Okay.
That's why I was sitting like this. That's why I was sitting like this.
That's
why I was sitting like this. I'm thinking, holy shit. Okay, sorry.
Well, I was on the bubble anyway. In the middle is on the bubble anyway. So,
I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say she's a vampire.
Okay.
She's a sick freak like that. Yep.
All right, so that moves confirmed into a tie with undecided. So that means undecided wins because next one's Abby. All right, Abby, what do you say, man?
Well, given that we talked about that no one actually saw her bathing in the blood or consuming any blood, I'm going to say debunked that she is not a vampire. She's batshit crazy, but she's debunked.
Okay.
But
do we have a tie? Do we have a tie?
I gave you the adrenochrome explanation.
We have a 4-way tie, don't we? We have a 4-way tie because it's confirmed, debunked, and undecided are like 4
That's
each.
a first.
So,
I think that's a first.
That's a record. That's a
there we go.
Note the date.
All right. Okay.
Three-way horse.
Well,
horse race.
Okay.
Mine counts because I've got the movie.
All right, there you go. That's why I chose confirmed. B-Dog chose confirmed. Okay. She was a blood whore. There you go. Yeah.
I like it.
Her look like a vampire. Hey, he did a pretty good job.
I didn't make her look like a vampire. I just smeared her with blood because she's called the Blood Countess.
He did a pretty good job.
I didn't give her fangs or glowing eyes. It's just a woman smeared with blood.
Have to.
What am I gonna do?
You know she's got
right,
fangs.
So okay. All right. Okay.
So what's the final?
So
score,
what do you want to do, guys? All right, we got a 4-way tie by my count. Between debunked, undecided, and confirmed.
Part blood whore.
Part blood whore. Okay.
There we go.
All right. Okay. All right. Since it's our show, and for the most part, we all decided that we're on the
rock,
line
paper, scissors.
of being confirmed.
Rochambeau.
3 to 1. I'm going to go ahead and make an executive decision and say,
watch out.
Oh, let me guess. It's going to be confirmed. It's a tie. It's officially a
He's the president.
It's all because of my explanation. I'm the one that got Bunny to change his mind.
Oh, you are. Isn't that special?
With it, and then you brought up like adrenochrome, and then I was like, I was the one who brought up adrenochrome. I was on
That's
anyway.
what.
You
When you were talking, and I'm sitting like this. That's my brain. My brain's going.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah.
All right, so maybe it's abuse of power. Maybe it's abuse of power.
Do we start calling you Joe Biden now?
To break the tie.
Yeah, there we go. Joe Biden.
No, Joe. Or do you prefer Merrick Garland?
Joe Biden doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
No, he doesn't. He's
right.
president by committee.
If that was even Joe Biden anyway.
All right. So I yeah, it is what it is. Go ahead, blame me. Go ahead, blame me. But I'm gonna go ahead and come down on the side of confirm since we had a three-way tie. So.
Well.
There you go.
He is only 500 years old, but the blood only make him look 50. LOL. There you go.
Well, he does have red hair too, Time Prophet.
Yes.
I'm not 500 years old. I would have a lot more money if I was 500. Trust me.
Well, that we know of.
That we know.
You think I'd have as bad of an internet connection if I had any kind of money? It's like a studio. I have a satellite.
It's all about setting up the facade there, Bunny.
I know.
I would have my freaking comic, I'd have my own comic imprint if I had money. Come on now.
I'll make them think I'm poor by having a shite internet connection.
That's right.
What a great chemical.
I wish. I really wish. Anyway. All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming. If anybody has a problem with the outcome of this,
I have no problem.
Submit all inquiries to Wookiee.
Yes.
Yeah, Wookiee Fever.
Send all your
WOOKIEFEER.
Yes.
Wookiee Fever.
That's right. Yes.
All right. Anyway, so Wookiee,
what's them right into the garbage? Yes.
There you go. What's the show on in the morning? What's the show about?
We're going to be talking about Kathleen Kennedy, Gene Hackman. Who else? Oh, Bongino, and obviously we're going to be talking about the nose candy freak Zelensky and his little temper tantrum.
The mighty midget from Ukraine.
The mighty, yeah.
I mean, how many times are people going to kick at this football with Kathleen Kennedy? She's not going to retire.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I thought it was kind of weird. I thought it was kind of weird. Then someone said, "Yeah, she's not." She put out a statement.
She's not.
I was just impressed.
She's
I was impressed and amazed that they all scooped Mike Zero. For fucking 10, 12 years, I heard Mike Zero. Every fucking video I'd see him on about Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy's out. George and John and blah, blah, blah. They're all.
Doomcock's been on this for a long time, too. And it's not going to happen. That lady is way too connected.
He's going to die in the position.
And she's a female, which means that she will burn it to the ground rather than hand it over.
It's already dead.
And,
now she's just
she doesn't care that the whole thing's going into the ground.
Maybe he's Elizabeth Bathory.
And she says she's not going to retire. She says she's not going to retire until she has a hit. And she's never going to have a hit.
Where the hell is Lee Harvey?
She's way too freaking connected. She is way too freaking connected. She is going nowhere.
Yeah. Lee Harvey.
And when she
used to get George's coffee.
Lee Harvey, give me Chuck Mowini.
Yeah. When she finally gets bored enough that she decides, okay, let me go ahead, let me retire. she will be praised. She will have parades. She will have like lifetime achievement awards, and she'll be showered with praise from the mainstream because
And
they
why?
think she.
Yep.
And
because
why?
she's got ovaries.
Because she's a woman. Yes.
Because he's a woman.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the meritocracy. It has
Nothing.
to
Nothing.
do with
Merit.
her.
Nothing about merit. Yeah.
Nothing. She's just a woman. She's an executive, and he was in charge of Disney for a while. And that's all she has to do to succeed in this in California.
Yeah.
That's all she needs. Okay. That's all she needs. DEI dictates that she doesn't have to be good at her job. She doesn't have to have success. She doesn't have to show any kind of like track record. All she needs is ovaries.
Nope.
And
Pretty much. Check a box.
All she needs. That's all she needs. Okay.
Yep.
And so it is what it is. That's the way the world works in California, which is why California is a shithole that is burning down as we speak. Anyway, so anyway, it's nepatism and ovaries.
Kathleen Kennedy's a
right
vampire.
kind of skin color.
Debunk that.
There you go. I wouldn't debunk that. No.
No.
All you
I don't
need
think
is any skin
Barely
color
a woman.
besides white and ovaries and or political connections like Gavin Newsom. That's all you need to succeed in California. All you need. If you have those things, then you're Elizabeth Bathory.
Then you
can murder people nonstop.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Pander to every woke liberal ideology there is.
Yeah.
And bankrupt the state. That has the fourth highest GDP in the world.
And they'll still ask you to run for president.
Yeah.
They'll still ask you to run for president. And that's the same thing that's burning California to the ground is the reason why Elizabeth Bathory was allowed to murder nearly 600 people.
Yep. Pretty much.
You know,
yeah. Yep. Connected.
the same thing. The same entity. The same untouchable elitism.
Yes, the elites. Yep. It's exactly what's going on.
It's just got a different like communist sheen to it, but it's the exact same thing.
Oh yeah,
But anyway,
absolutely. Yeah.
So I managed to bring it around, didn't I? I managed to bring it around. Hey,
oh, you brought it full circle, Bunny.
I am so good at this. Anyway,
good for you.
Good.
Thank you. You're so honored that I'm hosting this freaking show. Anyway, all right, everybody. Thank you for coming, guys.
I came for the booze. Anyway.
All right, we're past Krill's bedtime, so let's head out into the off in the sunshine. All right. Anyway, well,
now it's time to say good night. Good night.
Let's both pass par 40. Yeah, there you go. Thank you all for coming. Make sure you check out Wookie's show tomorrow, and we'll see you next time.
Good night, John Boy.